Hi, I'm Nick and this is the TBT channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at this little pistol that I found in my local gun shop, favourite gun shop if you like. It's not the most local. Last time I went there. Now this video is going to come out a few weeks, maybe more, after the actual visit to the video. You may have seen this in passing in the trip to the gun shop video. The reason this is so far back is I'm getting lots and lots of videos made to cover the time I can't make any after surgery, so this will be going ahead possibly even into March, and it's January at the moment. But so if there's a timeline confusion, just explain that. You probably didn't need to know. I'm sorry, I'm diverting myself. But anyway, so I went into the gun shop, and you will see on that particular video I went in to buy a Luger, and right next to it on the shelf was this, and I had absolutely no idea what it was, but I knew I had to have it. And I'm in a fortunate position where I am. It's possible you can just, oh, shiny thing, I want it, you can buy it, you can take it home. And that's what I did. Now I know and knew at the time when I got it, it's made by a company called Manu France in Saint Etienne, which is a French arms company. They were prolific, let's just say, throughout the 20th century and before, prolific gun makers. And this is one of their guns. You may know that I do love small guns, small things, tiny things. I like scale models. I've got model railways, I've got train sets, I've got N gauge, because that's even smaller and I'm considering a Z gauge. I like tiny things. Sometimes if I go to a public toilet and they've got one of those children's urinals, I'll use that just so I feel like a giant. But then don't we all? No? Okay, well, just me then. If you do, comment below. I like to feel like a giant. So I saw this and I bought it, and I brought it home, and I knew nothing about it. I know it's in 6.35mm caliber, 25 ACP, and that was it really. So when I got home, let me just, now you're going to like this, you're going to like this. When I take out the magazine, watch this. Oh, watch this, yeah, famous last words. Magazine catch at the back there, pull that back, take out the magazine, and as you remove the magazine, the barrel pops up. That's so exciting, and without the magazine in there, the barrel won't stay down. We'll come to that. But the gun is, as you can see, empty and safe. So I got the gun and I got some ammunition and I came home. Now I've got automatics and the top slide goes backwards and forwards. That's how they load. This doesn't. So I'm a bit perplexed as to how it works, and I did some internet research, and I'll tell you what I found out about this now. Now, if you've got anything to add to this or correct me on, please do in the comments down below. I'm not pretending I'm an expert. This is what I found out in the last 24 hours on the internet. There's precious little information because it is a French gun that was predominantly sold in France. It didn't travel well, so there's not many in other places as far as I can tell. So all the information I found was in French. I managed to translate most of it, but my French isn't the best, so I may have got some of it wrong. So what do we know? This is a model called Le Français, the French. It's stamped on the top there, and we've got a stamp there of Saint Etienne, made in France. And if we lift the barrel up, underneath here we've got the model number 802 and the serial number and proof markings. The 802 means this is the base model. This is the basic, no frills, no fripperies model. There was an, I don't know what, was it an 804 and an 806 or an 803 and an 804? I can't remember, but the higher models had different amounts of engraving on them. You could also get them in, they did some in a silver finish, and they did some with mother of pearl grips. Now if you are a keen Agatha Christie fan and you've watched the films or the TV series Poirot and things like that, quite often they'll have a gun very similar to this. Another gun that's very similar to this is the Beretta Bobcat in function, but we'll, you know, that's what it made me think of initially when I saw it on the shelf. So its production started in 1913, I believe, and carried on up until 1969. there have been various changes over the years. The grips changed in 1935. So I know this is post 1935, and this part here is a little spring-loaded bit that holds the firing pin there. That changed after the Second World War, 1945, but they ceased production during the war. So I'm fairly confident in dating this one to between the years of 1935 and 1939. Now, it's an unusual mechanism. Rather than the standard Browning method of automatic loading, this is a completely different thing. It's French. It would be. The French are difficult. That's not the word. They like to be different. They don't like to follow the herd. So the guy who invented this said, well, for a start, let's talk about what it's for. This is a defensive pistol. Okay, this is entirely designed for self-defense. At the time, the early 20th century, it was very common for ladies and gentlemen both to carry a pistol about their person for protection. I've got another one here. That's my 32 caliber revolver, 5-shot revolver, which is from the 1920s. It's a similar kind of thing, and it's a similar purpose. It was designed to be kept in your pocket or for ladies in their purse and used if needed in defence against ruffians. And I saw a fantastic advert from the time for a 6mm Velo dog. I used to have one of those, but I sold it. But a 6mm Velo dog, and one of the lines in inverted commas was, "I fear no tramp." And honestly, with one of these in your pocket, you would fear no tramp. It's a 6.35 or 25 ACP. So the ballistics of that mean, let me just show you one of the bullets here. They're not particularly big. So get that one there. There we go, look. That is a 25 ACP round. And for comparison, this one's from a real gun. That's a 44 Magnum. And there is a 25 ACP. The ballistics of this, from a 2-inch barrel, like this one, is 65 foot-pounds. That's what you're throwing out the end in your defensive situation, is 65 foot-pounds. And some people say, well, that's not a lot. And it isn't. But the idea wasn't so much to put somebody down. The idea was just to have something small in your pocket you could defend you with, or scare somebody off with. I mean, it would take quite a hardy ruffian to have one of these pointed at him and say, "Oh, but it might not even kill me," and carry on attacking you. I'd think twice. And incidentally, the 32 rimfire, this one here, is also about 65 foot-pounds. So they're a very similar ballistically performing gun. But the automatic is slimmer. It's shorter, easier to put in your pocket. And more importantly, it's 8-shot instead of 5-shot. So you have 8 shots. Now, the magazine, this is where I'm confused. Okay, this is where it all starts to get a little bit hazy for me. Because the magazine goes into the bottom. It goes into the bottom like that. And now the barrel will click down. But if the magazine comes out, oh, let me tell you about that. I was beginning to tell you about that, and I got sidetracked. I'm sorry. It's a different design to the Browning design of automatic. The Browning design of automatic is that, for a start, this is a double action only. There is no single action on this gun. So you pull the trigger, and you might be able to see at the back here the firing pin coming out of the gun. Okay, oh, because that's down, you need to reset it. Firing pin out, and it goes back in again. You load your magazine, put it in, and you can fire it, and nothing will happen because it won't load around into the chamber. That isn't how it works. You have to load your magazine, put that in there, then you put a bullet into the barrel and then click it down. Now it's ready to fire. There are 2 reasons for this. The guy who invented it said automatics are an attack weapon, not a defensive weapon. If you wanted defensive at the time, a revolver was better. an automatic, for it to be ready for action, has to be cocked and loaded, and that's dangerous. You don't want a cocked and loaded gun in your purse or your pocket. It might go off. So you either had to have it decocked without a round in the chamber or with a safety catch on. But he argued, the guy who invented this argued, that that's all well and good, but if somebody comes out to attack you, then you have to then get your gun, chamber around or cock it, turn off the safety catch, all taking up valuable time. Whereas this is in your pocket with one at the spout, doesn't need a safety because it's not cocked, it's quite a heavy double action, and it's ready for immediate use. The same as a revolver would be, the double action on a revolver. Just, remember how to take this apart, just show you this is actually completely empty as well. But on a double action revolver, obviously, you just pull the trigger and it's gone. You know, you don't have to faff around cocking. There's no safety catch. It's just a heavy pull, so it doesn't need one, and you're ready. But you've got 8 shots instead of 5. It's slimmer, yada yada yada. And the second reason for this design was, he said, the most accidents happened with a gun during cleaning. People would remove the magazine, so you've got your gun and it's loaded and it's ready to go, and you think, I'm going to clean my gun. People would remove the magazine, forget there was one in the chamber, and then while cleaning it, bang, off it goes, shoots you, the vase, next door's cat, whatever. But with this one, as I showed you at the beginning, if you remove the magazine, the barrel pops up, so there's absolutely no danger of that. So it's clever and it's different, but I'm still not sure how it works. So I think what we're going to do now is, I'm going to put on some safety goggles and my hearing protection, and I'm going to take it down to my backstop at that end by my train set, and set a camera up and see if I can take a slow motion of it firing, see if we can get any clues, because I can't, this just doesn't move and I cannot fathom it out. So I want to see it to find out what's going on. Once I've done that, I should know more, we should know more about it, and we should be able to proceed with the video with a bit more authority. So let's go and have a play and see what happens. Well, that was interesting. It's a lovely little thing to fire. 65 foot-pounds of recoil. Now, it's not 65 foot-pounds of recoil. It's a 65 foot-pound gun. Your recoil is worked out by the equal and opposite reaction to that action. So it's kind of all to do with the weight of the gun and the pushback. If you think of a 65 foot-pound air rifle, which would be a kind of an FAC power pre-charged air rifle, the recoil is still quite negligible because of the weight of the gun. Even a 2.2 rimfire running at 100 foot-pounds, very little recoil. This does have very little recoil, but because it is so small and because it is so light, you can feel it. It's nothing like a 357. I mean, it's considerably lighter than a 2.2 buttmark. It feels, but it's just nice. You know it's gone off. It's a strange thing to take. It goes bang as well, but it's a nice feeling. I'm going to be taking this to the range and doing some accuracy tests with its little fixed sights, just to see what happens. So we saw, if you saw that, I don't know, I've watched it several times now, but the slide is coming back. It's still not moving. The slide's coming back and it's throwing a case out, chucking the next one in. So I don't know how it's working, but it's working. But now that I know it does, I'm going to try and take it apart, because for a start it's going to need cleaning now because I've fired it. So remove the magazine. That's sticky. That's going to need some oil or something in there, but it is 90 years old. So this part here, oh, now we've got movement there. That just moved up. Is that going to move up and back? No. Up and forwards. Up and forwards. There we go. Up and forwards, and that little top slide comes off. No serrations because you can't pull it back. Then we've got inside of the mechanism here, just a little actuator with the spring. that works against the spring and that spur on the firing pin there. That's the spring loaded part that you can take out the firing pin and spring, but I still can't figure out how that works. Let me put the magazine in. I'm not pretending to be an expert on powder burners or handguns. I'm really not. Air rifles are my thing. I just enjoy these. But so that's there, and that comes back. But it can only come back to there because we've got a stop there, and we've got a bar there. So that must only come back as far as that, which is behind where the bullet is. So yeah, it's coming back. It's collecting the bullet and taking it in. It just all happens and you can't see it. If I figure out how to put the slide back on again, how was it? It was at the top and it was back, wasn't it? Oh crikey, like that. So that's, and that just no movement there at all. I'm thinking it must be some part of the action is when you've got the trigger pulled in, that will release some kind of bar that allows it to go back on the spring. But I don't know. That needs more research, or even better, if you know, then please let me know, because it's something I would like to know. So that there, that into place, and it's all back together again. So it's a small gun for protection with a very unique loading mechanism. Quite a revolutionary safety design. I've got to say, I'm impressed you can carry 8. Effectively, it's as safe as having an 8-shot revolver, but in a narrower frame. And that's innovative. It really is an innovative idea. And it's, let's face it, it's hella sweet, and it's a lovely little thing. I'm really looking forward to getting this down the range and giving it a shoot, which I will obviously be taking you with me when I do that. But I wanted to show it to you, and I wanted to try it, and I wanted it to be on film the first time I do. Please let me know what you think of it. Do you know anything about these? Has anybody... I've got American viewers. My American viewers are going up. It's going up towards 20% now, American viewers. Some of you guys may well have the Bobcat. Can you tell me if it's a similar mechanism? I know it's got the flip up barrel, but is it a similar mechanism? Is there anything you can tell me about that relating to this? Like, subscribe, hit notifications, keep an eye out for the next videos coming out on this and other pistols I've got going on, as well as all the air rifle related content. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.